I want to take time to thank you all for being here. I want to thank everybody for being here, those in the audience, those at home that are viewing this. Before we get started, I want to say some thanks to a few people. First of all, she's not here this evening. However, we want to take a little time to thank Sherry Turney for the 17 years of just tremendous help in running the Chamber's office and everything. We certainly miss her, and so I wanted to make sure that we address that. She has been great to work with over all these years. I want to thank Robin No from No's Jewelry for being our timer. She's done this virtually every single year, and we love having Robin with us. Thank you, Robin. I want to thank our new executive director, Melissa Ferrari. There she is. Melissa, thank you very much. It's going to be a blast working with you, and I appreciate all the efforts you put into this so far. Also want to thank Mayor Chris Turnbow and the city's staff for putting this together here. It's certainly, we couldn't do that do this without the staff, so thank you very much. Now we're going to go back and read your bios.
And
so,
thank you, Mr. SC, for the
oh, come on. So, you're very welcome, thank you. So we'll start over here with Reggie Townsend. Reggie Townsend's running for City Council Ward 1. I have lived in Raymore since 2010 with my wife and 2 children. Aria, a graduate of Rockhurst University, and Olivia, a junior at Ray Peck High School. I retired from the United States Marine Corps after 22 years of service as a chief warrant officer and currently working as a federal employee. I serve as a deacon in my local church and am a member of a Raymore Sunrise Optimist Club and graduated from Baker University with a bachelor's in business administration. When first elected to the City Council in 2017, I pledged to lead responsibly and be a diligent advocate for the citizens of Raymore and Ward 1, to which I currently serve as the Mayor Pro Tem and a member of the Board of Trustees for the Belton Regional Medical Center. Was appointed by Governor Parson to the Kansas City Area Transit Authority's Board of Commissioners, where I am now the Vice Chairman, and appointed by the Cass County Commissioners to the Total Transportation Policy Committee for Mid-America Regional Council. I have devoted a lifetime to the service of others and to making a positive contribution whenever and wherever I can, and with your support on Election Day, I hope to continue being your service. Reginald Townsend. Tom Serco. He's running for re-election in Ward 2. He's proudly served Raymore as councilman of Ward 2 for 2 terms. 4 years repeating Ward 2 has been an honor and a role that I take very seriously. In his professional life, I'm a proud business owner, 25 years, and I was fortunate to have my farmer's insurance business here in Raymore for 19 years, and I still write Medicare insurance for United Healthcare. Some positions I have served and are still serving. First, Board of Adjustments, 2017. Raymore City Council, Ward 2, 2018 to present. Sunrise Optimist Club, 2020 and to now, and he's the Vice President. Raymore Chamber of Commerce, 2001 until now. Chamber Person of the Year, 2009, where he served also as Vice President in 2013 and President in 2014. Sponsorship of many charitable events for over 20 years, youth and high school sports teams, Raymore Festival in the Park, Farmers Insurance Bike-a-thon 2013 to 2016. In his personal life, my Christian family man, have served in my church for 25 years, and I'm the head of security and ushering along with other ministries. I've been married to my wife Connie for 49 years. My family includes 2 daughters, 9 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, and I'm a proud U.S. Army veteran. Tom Serco. Tabitha Forster is unable to be here today or this evening, so I'm going to go ahead and read her bio since it's included. She's also running Ward 2. Tabitha Forster has been a Raymore resident for the last 10 years. She and her husband Dave have started 2 successful small businesses in Raymore, and their current business is actually located in Ward 2. Tabitha loves her community and works hard to make a place of belonging for all, a place where all can succeed, and a place where everyone can live well. Those aren't just words. She puts those beliefs into action by volunteering on the Ray Peck Foundation, Raymore Chamber of Commerce, Raymore Festival in the Park, and the Cass County Forever Bike Program. Tabitha Forster, Ward 2. We got Jay Holman, running for candidate for the City Council Ward 3. Jay has been a resident of the city of Raymore for the past 28 years and has been a law enforcement officer for the past 32 years. He graduated from Northwest Missouri State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in political science. He is a United States Air Force veteran and a lifelong Missouri resident. Jay has been in service to the citizens of Raymore for approximately the last 17 years. Jay has spent the first 6.5 years on the Raymore Planning and Zoning Commission, the next 2.5 years on the Raymore Park Board, and the last 8 years as a city council member for Ward 2. Jay Holman. Keith Filer. Is that Filer? Or Kenneth Filer? Yes. Kenneth Filer was born in Dubuque, Iowa. Upon graduating high school in 1995, Kenneth enlisted into the United States Marine Corps. In 2017, Kenneth retired from the Marines at the rank of Gunnery Sergeant E7. In August 2017, Kenneth, his wife Marion, and their 3 daughters moved to Raymore, establishing their home in Ward 3 on North Madison Street. Kenneth has a Bachelor's of Arts in Business Management and Associates in Applied Sciences, Welding, Technology, and Management. Kenneth Filer. Sonia Abdelgawad. She's running for City Council Ward 4. Sonia Abdelgawad has served on the Raymore City Council for 10 years, representing Ward 4. She holds 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree in education. She worked as a teacher, instructional coach, and curriculum facilitator in the Belton School District for 12 years and currently serves as the executive director of the Belton Education Foundation, a nonprofit organization that raises funds to support children and education in the Belton School District. Sonia and her husband, Allie, and their 2 children have lived in Raymore for 15 years. She is the president-elect of the Belton Raymore Rotary Club and is actively involved in Chamber of Commerce events and volunteers in various capacities in Raymore. She is excited about continuing to serve in Raymore City Council. The city has benefited from well-planned growth in our parks and in economic development while continuing to maintain important infrastructure and citizen safety during her tenure. She will continue to encourage communication and work to maintain the professional reputation this current council built. Sonia Abdelgawad. And last, we have Dylan Stevie running for council, City Council Ward 4. So Dylan is a Christian. He's a husband to Sarah. He's a father of 4. Has 4 dogs and a cat. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Raymore resident, plumber. He's a carpenter, experienced business manager in restaurant, retail, and transportation industries. He's an entrepreneur. Dylan is an owner-operator, Ironworks Fitness and Nutrition Counseling Service. He's the owner-operator, Jack of All KC Handyman Service. He's a substitute teacher. Dylan's a former law enforcement officer for the city of Kansas City, Missouri. He has a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice from Missouri Western State University. He volunteers with recreational youth sports coach for Raymore Parks and Recreation. Dylan Stevie. Thank you all for being here. Now what's going to happen, Robin is going to draw questions from this basket over here. We're going to have a total of 3 questions. And we'll change up who we start with and end with each round. You'll have 2 minutes to answer the question. With 30 seconds to go, she'll hold up a sign saying that you've got 30 seconds. If we can just try to respect that so we can keep this to a reasonable time frame. So if you will draw the first question, Robin. None of us have seen these, by the way. So question 1, and we'll start with Dylan and we're going to work our way to Reginald. It's the 4 dogs and a cat that gets you the first question. So, question 1, please describe your previous work in our community and how these experiences qualify you for a position on the council. Dylan.
Okay, so my previous work in the community, like I said, amounts to volunteer coaching and substitute teaching. How that qualifies me. I'm not sure about that, except that I live in this community, I've worked in this community, I've seen the people in this community and working in our schools, and by the way, I'm also running for school board. I'm concerned about the things that I see going on in our community. My wife and I came to this community to establish our home and to raise our children. And we came to this community because of its culture, because of its character. And I see that is being threatened by some things that are going on, by outside forces. It seems like that we're at the school and maybe even also with our city, with respect to our city, that we're trying to mold ourselves to look like the places that I moved away from. I don't want to live in Lee Summit. I don't want to live in Jackson County. If I wanted to do that, I could pack up and move. I could be there tomorrow. As far as what qualifies me, the only qualifications that are necessary for the position is to be a citizen, to pay my taxes, and to not be a criminal. So I meet those qualifications. Thank you.
Sonia.
Thank you. My previous work in the community, my husband and I have lived here for 15 years. We've been in the area for longer than that. When my children were young, we worked as volunteers in the school. I was active in PTA and all of the school things, as well as Parks and Rec, kind of as you do as a mom, getting to know the community, getting to know the people in the community. I've served on the council for 10 years. So for 10 years, I've been in this leadership role in the city. I've been involved in learning about everything that has to do with the city. Prior to my service on the city council, I was on the park board for not quite 2 years. I think it was a little over a year. I am active in the Belton Raymore Rotary Club. I have been a member of the Optimist Club, and we live here, we work here, we play here. What we do in our family is just enjoy this wonderful community that we live in. So we try to get involved in as many ways as we can.
Well, thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
Kenneth.
Trying to cram a lot of history of myself into 100 words is almost impossible. So what I didn't put in there was a lot of community relations that I did, well, previous to us moving here was doing youth sports. And I feel that we've tried bringing that here. We open up the farm tours, we do farm tours with individual families, homeschool groups. And I think, and then the interaction at the farmer's market that we do, it's just more of getting around the residents of the community and being able to talk to them openly and whenever they want to discuss matters. So.
Thank you, Kenneth. Jay.
Thank you, sir. It kind of took two parts out of your question. How am I qualified and what previous work have I done in the community?
Right.
28-year resident, lived here for a very long time. Both my kids have gone through the Ray-Peck School District. We love Raymore and we love where it's going. It's a great place. I was a soccer coach for 15 years, volunteer here with the Ray-Peck Soccer Club. Till my kids got older and are getting out of school. 17 years in service to the city, almost 7 years on planning and zoning. Would still probably be on that board today, excuse me, if I hadn't gotten redistricted off in the census of 2010. Went on to serve on Parks Board for a little time with Sonia, a little over 2.5 years, and the last 8 years on the city council, and I think we've done some fantastic things to make the lives better for our citizens. I was mayor pro tem for a term, was on a number of various boards and commissions that come along with city council. I've been a law enforcement officer all of my professional life, various cities for the state. I was a child abuse neglect investigator for Children's Division, and I'm currently serving in a role as a law enforcement officer as well.
Thank you, Jay. Tom.
Thank you, Brent. Well, I've been on the city council for ward here too for 4 years serving. Of course, I was on the other board there 2017. Actually, I got that job. I was on vacation out of town. I came back and then they told me I had that position on the Board of Adjustments. It's kind of a surprise. I go, okay, great. But I did that for a year. Then I got elected in 18. So I've been sitting here on the council. I have done my due diligence to work with the city, the businesses, the people in Ward 2. I believe I wear 3 hats. I wear the hat of the people, the hat of the city, and the hat of business. And being a longtime business owner, over 25 years, I've dealt with a lot of business owners in this town. were friends and general managers of their businesses. So I really take business ownership and dealing with the city and business very personal, because we have to have great growth in our cities with our business, not only the new ones, but the existing business, make sure they stay here and they grow with the new business. Chamber, of course, for 21 years. I was an officer 13 of those 16 first years, and of course VP in 13, president in 14. Of course, while my time on the chamber helped bring together the Day at the K, the Young Chamber of Commerce, and a number of things that we worked with. I've always worked, like I said, with the business, with the people. I've been involved with sports with the high school, and making the game of the player of the game ball. Mike Metzger's farmer still does that. But I've been very active with the CAN program, with the festival in the park, with a lot of charities, and I love to be involved, and I'm always involved. I truly love Raymore. That's why I moved here in 11. That's why I do what I do. People ask me because I love Raymore most, and that's why I do it. But it gives me a great relief to know that I can be here and present and help people in Ward 2 and take care of business for the city and the growth of the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. And finally, Reginald.
Thank you. Like many, they've always said that I've been here 12 years now. Half that time has been in service on the council. And it's been outstanding time for me as far as giving back to the community, which seems to be the common theme to say when you're running for office, but it's truly that. It's truly providing an opportunity, my experiences, my life's experiences, the observations I've had to find ways to give back, and hearing from those that are around me and things they would like to see, things that good or bad that may have occurred, and how we can prepare Raymore for the future, because we enjoy how Raymore has grown. There may have been some growing pains, but we're trying to position the community to be sustainable going forward. You know, we had the things that happened with the housing environment, and we've had some more recent things with the COVID that seem to have challenged us, but the strength of our community got us through that to where we didn't have some of the challenges of other communities. So I believe my qualifications in that capacity, and given my support, support and experiences I've had with some of the other communities I serve on, has allowed me the opportunity to kind of bring back some things to help prepare our community to be sustained and be able to support the next level that Raymore has coming to it. So,
Thanks, Reginald.
Thank
Sure
you.
appreciate that. So question 2. Let's see what we got here. All right. What we're going to do here, now we're going to start with Reginald, and we're going to work our way to Dylan. All right, question 2. How do you envision Raymore in 5 to 10 years? Reginald, we'll start with you.
yes, thank you. I'm sorry, I was writing down the question, make sure.
No, that's all right.
For reference, thank you. How do I envision Raymore for the next 5 to 10 years? Well, if the past 10 years is any predictor of the future, we've grown 19% just from the last survey from the name escapes me now, the census. And looking at our last budget, it says that our city from 2006, we grew 39%. If you have an opportunity to look at our current projects website to see all the preliminary plats and plans for the single-family houses that are in the community, if you have an opportunity to hear from our economic development and community development directors, just the future from business to just the residential growth in our community. In 5 years, I truly believe that we will have surpassed Belton in our growth when it comes to population. So what does that mean? That means that we have to be very strategic in what we do as a council and as a city, because we have, with these preliminary plans, approving some of the single-family homes. They are not all congested or grouped in one area. They're kind of in the northern eastern portion of the city, some of the southwest portion of the city, and they're staggered, so they're not all coming online at the same time, to include our multifamily units. We all feel the pain of traffic, so that's one of the things that I've been fighting for, is trying to get some funding and some visibility and reality of the growth that we have out here that seems to be ignored in the Kansas City Metro when it comes to funding the infrastructure needs that is outside of our community. The bridge is, Highway 58 is not in our jurisdiction. I-49 is not in our jurisdiction, but it's the pain point that our community feels. We have some issues internally to 58 that we're addressing with our surveys that we've had here in 2021, and how we can manage some of the access management along 58 in those growth areas. And so in the next 5 years, that's one of the things that we're looking to do, is to cure that and make access through our community a lot more better.
Thank you, Reginald. Tom?
Yeah, my envision of next 5, 10, 20 years, I mean, we're working always into the future of the city, the council, the mayor. I envision a lot of growth. We're doing the growth now. We're showing how we're growing with the people, with the rooftops, and that's a great thing, because business always say, you grow the rooftops, we'll grow, we'll come. And we see that with the big winery down south here. You decided to come in, buy that building. We have a lot of potential. We are economic development in the city, working constantly on bringing in a lot of new business, along with still going out and retaining the old business. We're working on the roads. We understand what people need in our growth and how it's coming, but we have ideas. We will meet every Monday on a regular session and another Monday on a work session. We do our due diligence, work very hard to plan for this stuff. We don't just plan for next week, next year. We plan in the future. I do envision us to grow and be, like Reginald said, we'll be more people than Belton. We're growing in that prospect. We're actually growing some businesses. We're doing good that, but that's our future growth. We got the great parks. We got the great facilities. But it takes a budget, and the city gives us a great budget, and they work with us on that budget, and we maintain that budget, because you got to maintain your budget if you want growth. You can't just grow without a good, solid budget. You got to have the funds, and the funds go up. But we have that with our city, with our mayor, with our council, and with me. We work very hard for that. That's our primary. Get the budget, have the overflow, have the money, so on emergencies, we do that very well. And we're growing that way, and we have so much coming into the future. And we're very positive as a city, as our council and everything else, that we're going to have this. That's my envision. We're going to grow more. We've got the freshman center. We got right now going in a possible new high school, of course. After that, we envision growth. A lot of students, a lot of people, and families. We love the families and the people, and they're coming, and they want to come here. Large percent of people who want to come to this area want to come to Raymore, and there's a reason. We have the city that everybody wants to be in, and we work very hard to keep that and make sure we can afford it and we can go forward with our streets, our business, our people, and fundamentally their parks and their streets, and take care of them.
Thanks, Tom. Jay?
As far as specifics go, I think you're going to see an improved transportation structure and network across the city. Councilman Townsend alluded to this. We had a work session just last week about the widening project of I-49 and what will eventually turn into the improvement of the bridge over 58. There's also talk of a possibility of a flyover bridge at Lucy Webb across to the other side of the highway, and we're also continuing to look for a north corridor out to 150 highway that's much safer than the current streets in Grandview and Kansas City of Kelly Road and Peterson Road. I think that you will see more and improved parks and recs amenities. We have focused hard on that in the last couple of years. Hawk Ridge has become a reality. TB Hanna Station has become a reality, and we're going to continue to give the citizens even more of those things that they've asked for. I think you'll see in 5 to 10 years, you're going to see the same safe community that we live in today that is so important to our citizens. They say that every year in the citizen survey. They say that in the community conversations. We have great faith in our police department. We have one of the best police departments around, and they keep us safe. We enjoy a very low crime rate, and that's the #1 thing that people look for here in this city. And the other thing you're going to see is increased economic development. You're going to see business growth. I think you're going to see growth of existing businesses, and that's going to include those restaurants and retail establishments that people have been asking for a number of years, that the citizens have all asked us for.
Thank you, Jay. Kenneth?
5 years ago when we moved here, I think the Raymore population sign said 19,000. It is now, 5 years later, it's 22,194, which is on the sign. So where do I see us in 5 years? Probably another 4,000. Where do I see us in 10 years? Probably another 10,000. We're growing. Raymore is a beautiful place to live in. We moved here because the school district was awesome. The police, there's low crime. The fire department, EMS is real quick to almost everybody. So those are all attributes that people look for. They want that for their family, so that way everyone's safe. So I see us growing leaps and bounds, and I hope that we do so responsibly, so that way we can incorporate some of those businesses to help us kind of offset our tax levy.
Thank you, Kenneth. Sonia?
Thank you. So a few points as far as envisioning Raymore in 5 to 10 years. Is 10 years going to be too soon for flying cars? Just kidding. As everyone else said, Raymore's growing. There's no doubt about that. We're growing in our residential areas. We're growing in our business areas. That's something that we've focused on as a city council is, that goal of making Raymore a place where people live, work, and play. And a big piece of that for us has been growing the businesses here. We are a commuter community. We live here, but we go elsewhere to work, the majority of the city. And so adding that business piece into the community so that we can live here and work here. With that, on the residential side, we want to offer multiple housing opportunities for people. We have people who want to age in place. They want to stay in Raymore as they age. We have great school systems, so that's bringing more of our families with younger children here, but growing the opportunities for the young professionals who maybe don't want to be tied down by a mortgage and maintenance and all of that, and also growing opportunities for the aging community with some of the maintenance provided, maybe some smaller homes and apartments and that sort of thing. I know lately we've seen that with our apartment buildings that are coming in that are more the high-end apartments. Adding to that, transportation, we're working hard on getting transportation much more fluid into the city. We love our parks systems, so definitely green space. It will remain here in the next 5 to 10 years with our parks and our trails. Building on activities where the community can come together and build that community. We don't want to lose the small town feel as we grow, and we have that in place ready with our Arts Commission and our Parks Department, and then as Jay said, safety.
Thank you, Sonia. Finally, Dylan.
Yeah, we're growing. People want to move here. I understand that. The issue is, and it's not the growth, the issue is that if we don't temper it, we're going to end up looking like Grandview. If you heard some mentions and some concerns about the money to pay for these infrastructure and services that we're going to need as we grow. But if we collect less money, we're going to have less money to spend. So if we're giving discounts on property taxes, in order to, if everybody wants to come here so much, then why are we begging them to come here by giving discounts to do it? So I don't understand that. I have a $100 bill here. If anyone can convince me why I, a citizen of Raymore, taxpayer, already here, resident, why I should, I'm not against our growth, but why I should want to grow our population. What benefit is there to me in doing that? Because if we're going to spend this money, if we're going to, like, it seems to me like tax incentives from my mind, from what I understand of economics, is that I would rather, we can only do so much of that. And I would rather focus that on businesses, on bringing businesses here that are going to grow jobs, grow capital. And then that's going to attract people that are going to build homes and pay property taxes to contribute to the growth of this community. If you can convince me why I should want that to happen, why I should want to grow the population to the point that I should want to pay for it, here's $100 for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. All right, that's 2 questions. Robin, if you could pick out number 3. What we're going to do with this one, we're going to start with Jay, work our way around to Kenneth. This is totally random, so the order is. So here's question 3. What is something you would like to see changed after you are elected, and why? Jay.
The change, I think, is a natural extension of the growth of the city and the policies that this council has put in place and many of the things that I have helped work for as well. We have simply taken input from the citizens via the citizen survey that we do every year, as well as the community conversations. We reach out to the people and we get the same kind of responses back every year. There are concerns about the transportation network, but when you dig deep into that, most of those begin where our city ends and Belton begins, over around the highway. That's where all the congestion is at. That's why we've worked so hard on that project that I mentioned earlier. The other things that people have asked for, they want more sit-down restaurants. We have Johnny's Tavern that's going to be coming in soon, and that's something I think people are really going to enjoy. So I think change is going to be just the natural growth and extension, the very well-managed growth of this city going forward, continuing to give back small victories to the citizens of Raymore, and that's the change that we will see, sir.
Thank you, Jay. Tom?
Yeah, the change. I don't see a big thing I want to change. I think Raymore is fantastic. I think it's going in the right direction. With this city, with this mayor, with this council, and me part of that, we are going in the right direction. We're working hard to get on change, let's say more restaurants, more economic, retail business. We're working on the parks to advance the parks. We do these citizen surveys. They give us a survey, their top 5, 6 things they're really interested in. We take those to heart, we put them, and we work on that as a city. And we work to make sure we adjust to those and make it better for them, whether it's parks, it's roads. But we have one of the highest fundamentally sound financial cities and anywhere around. We stay on top of that. No cities compete with us financially, with the city and our finances. We could have put some taxations this last year on the people. We didn't see where we needed to. We're fundamentally sound. We didn't. We're not going to tax the people. We're not going to enlarge that stuff to the people if we don't have to, like some other cities around close to us do. But we have change. We do have things coming, great positive change. We've been working at it in my last 4 years, looking for 2 more, is that direction of change. We're working hard with the ED for business. We're working with the parks. We're working to put this top-notch playground over here down north of us here at the Hawk Nest. All playground, all-inclusive handicap. It's going to be the first, it's going to be the best. We're always growing. We're always in the Parks Department direct. We're always together, working together cohesively. We all work together. We all meet together. This is the change. The change is here. The change of positive direction is coming. It's already here, and it's going forward. We are looking for that, and we love to do that, and that's what we work hard for. We work our due diligence. We make sure we go over this stuff tooth and nail. We make sure when we decide things, we understand the purpose of the people of the city together, grow together, and be profitable together, and we're doing that. So that's the change. You say a change in Raymore. We have a great change, and we're moving forward positively. It's a good thing right now to live in Raymore. We have a great future.
Thanks, Tom. Reginald?
Thank you. Very hard question. As my 2 colleagues have said, and I'm probably hear it as well from others. Change that we've had in the past 5 years, looking at our community conversations as has been spoken of earlier. I believe we have another one this year. I believe at some point where we get input from the community, what they think our priorities should be for the next 2 years or 5 years, I believe it is, when it comes to our strategic plan. So we are an evolving community, receiving input from the community. That's why our park system is where it's at today with the growth that we've had in that, because the community has said they want to have more park programs and amenities. We did a geo bond to put those into place in 2020 with the Hawk's Nest, with the rack, with the Centerview. We have some more amenities with the 2016, excuse me. Now we have the 2020 geo bond. We're expanding those park systems based on community input from those community conversations and surveys. If elected, what would I like to see changed? Continue that receiving input from the community, because while there's 8 members on the dais representing the 4 wards, we are here to attempt to try to make this community better for everyone, not just for those in the upper 1% of the community or exclude those in the bottom 1% of the community. We're here to try to provide access and opportunities for everyone, that they can, as Mr. Belwad has said, that they can age in place, they can move here, grow here, retire here, have opportunities to do all the same. Whether it be live, work, and play, That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to find a balance between in our communities, to find a way that everyone has an opportunity to equally thrive in their own way, in the ways that they see fit for them, not to impose my feelings, but to provide them opportunities that what they feel is appropriate for them, and to have the freedom of movement to do that. So that's what I think. Thank you.
Thanks, Reggie. Dylan.
Okay, so change. I'm just going to get into this one. This is the biggest thing that needs to change in our community, not just in our community, but also in our state and in our nation. The biggest problem that we have right now is a lack of engagement at the polls. I hear everybody talking about democracy. Democracy requires participation. Our voter turnout for the general election is around 80%, which to me that's sad. Really, it is. But what's even spring elections, 8 to 10%. That's disgusting. That's a slap in the face to anybody that's ever fought or died for the right to vote, or the people that have gone to war to make sure that our land is peaceful. We really need to change that. We need to have more engagement. We need to have more transparency. We need to make it easier for citizens to be informed of what's going on here and in our school board and at all levels of our government. The only defense against corruption is absolute transparency. And to my mind, that's the most important thing that we need to work on changing. Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. Sonia.
Thank you. Something that I'd like to see change and why. First of all, I have to say, in the last 10 years serving the citizens of Raymore on the council, we've seen a lot of change. Some people up here have talked about that tonight, the change in numbers and the growth and et cetera. One of the great things about having a hand in the leadership in this community is that we view change in a proactive manner instead of a reactive manner, and that's a great place to be when you're helping to lead a city. So I love that we are able to be proactive in our change and not reactive. As far as the one thing that I would like to see change and why, probably definitely the number one thing that we hear from the citizens on our survey when we do that citizen survey is transportation. And as I think Jay mentioned, most of the transportation issues actually aren't issues in Raymore. We have great streets in Raymore. We take great care of our streets in Raymore. But we do have some room to grow. We just, in the last bond issue, got approval from the voters to pay to fix some of the roads, especially out in Ward 4. And so we're really excited about seeing the changes in Ward Road out there and some of the other roads. But if you didn't already know, the city has been working really hard with the county and with Belton and working on trying to get grants from the state and federal levels to help with the problem on I-49, which isn't actually Raymore, but it has a huge impact on Raymore citizens. So the thing that I would like to see change, and hopefully we'll get to see that very soon, is the widening of I-49 and just improvement to the roads and the transportation system here for our residents in Raymore.
Thank you, Sonia. Finally, Kenneth.
What changes? That's a hard one to say. Raymore has provided great infrastructure. We always keep our roads clear. We always maintain them. Now the city has a new app where you can text if you have an issue with a pothole, you find a pothole or there's street signs that are down, you could text that to hurry up and get the services repaired immediately. There's a lot of good things that the city has been doing, that the President Council has been doing, that this is my chance. I feel I would like to be a part of that team to keep that ball rolling. So.
Thank you very much. All right, so the way we'll end this is we're going to give each of you 30 or 60 seconds, 1 minute, to just wrap up. Explain to people why it is that they should vote you, how you're uniquely qualified for this position. This is your 1 minute to sort of just wrap up your thoughts. And I think what we'll do here is we're going to start with Tom, and we're going to come around and end with Jay. Tom.
Okay, in 1 minute, I'll tell you, I've worked for the city. I love the city. People always tell them I have to speak fast, but I do good at that. You got to love the city. I love the city dearly and everything about it. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm on the council. That's why I did with the chamber all these years. That's why I've been so dedicated as a business owner to work with all these entities, because I love the Raymore, the growth, the people, the business. It's all, we got to work together. We all are here. It's very important for me to get reelected for 2 more years. We've grown so much in my 4 years, the first 2 terms. I know there's so much more we're going to do. I want to be part of that. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of great prospects for the future of Raymore. I'd love to have your vote. I really would appreciate your vote for my 3rd term. But to love the city, to move forward in the city, to do the things with this city and this city government, the PD, we have great, everything we work together is so good, this council, the mayor. We are heading forward. We're one of the most loved, best cities around, and there's a reason, because we all are here working together for that. That's what I'm asking for your vote on April 5th, Tom Serco, for re-election of Ward 2.
Thanks, Tom. Reginald.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the hosting this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be before the residents of Raymore and show them and give them my opinions on, where we think we're going to go, where we should go in the future, and why you should vote for me. I have enjoyed the time here on the council. I've enjoyed the opportunities to represent Raymore in the Kansas City metro area on the Transportation Committee, which is not just Raymore, it's representing the county on influencing the needs of our community as far as the traffic and the infrastructure necessary for here, as well as serving on the KCATA Transit Authority, as well providing and getting opportunities for those in our community to have access to more mobility accesses to health care and job opportunities and employment. So going forward, I hope to have the opportunity to continue that service to the community, to make Raymore, continue for Raymore to be that beacon in the community as we are growing. We are doing that growth in a manageable manner, and we've enjoyed that to this point, and hopefully I'll have the opportunity to continue being of service to the community going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Reginald. Dylan.
First of all, I'd like to ask, when can we get the restrooms opened up at Recreation Park for the kids that are coming out to practice for spring sports? Gosh. I put my name on these ballots because I was asked to. I don't have any interest in being a politician, none at all. I'd rather scrape hog sheds on a hot summer day. But I was asked to, and I put my name up here and came out, get around, talk to people, and we'll just see what God has to say about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan. Sonia.
Thank you. I feel honored to have been able to serve the citizens of Ward 4 for the last 10 years in this role on the City Council, and I'm excited about continuing to do that. I enjoy serving the citizens of Raymore on the City Council. My phone number is on the website. My door is always open. As a representative for the whole community, but especially for Ward 4, I will listen to you. I will respond to you. I will ask questions for you and help explain things that are going on in the city that sometimes can be quite complex. As a city, we do citizen surveys, we have community conversations, and we do read that, we listen to you, and we respond to that. And so I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to bring your voice, the community, to the table. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia. Kenneth.
This city has helped us grow for our farm in leaps and bounds. And I feel that this is my chance to be able to give back to them, to be an asset, to be their voice, and to be a liaison from the residents to the city. And I really hope that the citizens give me that chance to be able to be their voice for Ward 3.
Thanks, Kenneth. Finally, Jay.
Thank you, sir. President George H.W. Bush said any definition of a fulfilled life must include service to others. Done that my entire life by choice of profession, by being up here, by being on boards and commissions, by being a soccer coach. I'll do that probably until they put me 6 feet under, sir. People should vote for me because I will continue to do the same solid job I have been doing them for years, giving them exactly what they have asked for and helping turn this into the flagship city of Cass County. And the second reason people should vote for me, sir, is I am trying to claim your final 8. We have been accused of being a bedroom community. If you divide the day into 24 hours, 8 hours sleeping roughly, 8 hours working, what do you do with your other 8? I want people to spend more of that time in Raymore, hence the new parks amenities, hence the new restaurants, hence the great roads, hence the safe community that we continue to have. I want people to spend more of their time within their own community besides just sleeping here, sir. And that's why people should vote for me.
Jay, thank you. Once again, thank you to all of you for being here. I wish you the best during this election. For those of you watching, for those of you in attendance, please get out and vote. It matters. April 5th 's the time. And guys, we're going to take a 10-minute break. And during that time, we'll welcome members of the school board to come up. Thank you.